Hello, hello, everyone. Give just a second for people to hop on and Facebook to notify everyone that we are live. I'm so excited to do this. Hey, my name is Hannah Shanks. If I do not know you, I'm so excited that you're here and coming to learn about this incredible new hormone balance product that we have coming tomorrow. It's available tomorrow. I am from the Kansas City area. I have been a Young Living brand partner for the last 12 years. I started with my first bundle of Young Living products in 2013 and absolutely fell in love with the lifestyle that Young Living offered, the ease and the peace of mind that all of their products gave me. I've been able to take care of my family and raise my children knowing that I'm giving the absolute best of the best toxin-free products, hormonal support for myself, just taking care of all kinds of things that we need remedies for. And Young Living has always had the answer for me in every age and phase that we have been in. And I joined 13 years ago or 12 years ago, and now I am the target market. I am in the phase of life for this brand new Daily Hormone Essentials supplement. So say hey when you get in here. It's not letting me see who's live or whatever right now, so your comments might come in a little bit late, but I want to say hi to everybody who's here, and if you have questions, please leave them in the comments so that I can circle back around if I'm not able to get to them during the presentation today. But just this past week, Young Living had their annual convention, and as we know, if you're part of Young Living and in our community, you know that Convention week is always very exciting because there's always new products that are launched. Young Living kind of releases to us the things that they've been spending the past year working on for us. And I love that Young Living went very strategic this year with this Daily Hormone Essentials because they looked at what the customer base of Young Living, so the people who are ordering from Young Living, are largely you and me, right? We are the ones who are looking for non-toxic alternatives. We are the ones who are in this hormonal transition phase of life. And I'm gonna kind of give a little bit of an overview of perimenopause here in a second because we have so much more understanding of it than we used to. But they went very strategic. And so this Daily Hormone Essential supplement that we're going to be talking about today is a strategic supplement that Young Living really worked hard at developing the science, making sure that the ingredients were exactly hitting the target for what their customers need. So we are their customers, and then all of our friends, all of our peers, all of our network are likely experiencing the same things that we are. And that's what I love about being able to share and educate about Young Living products, is that it reaches people who need these products in their life. And when we're open about like, hey, I need this, and here's what I've been learning about hormones in your 30s, in your late 30s, that other people raise their hand and they're like, me too, I thought I was alone in that. I didn't know that I was allowed to talk about that, or I didn't even know that that was a symptom of hormone imbalance. And so we all help each other by talking and sharing about things like this new supplement and why it's incredible and why we're and how we're using it, and then sharing our experiences and testimonies with it. So this supplement is groundbreaking. There is nothing like this on the market today. There might be similar sounding or similarly marketed supplements, but we're going to dive deep into it today, and you're going to see that there really is nothing like this that you can find anywhere else, and I'll explain why and all of that as we get into it. But so this supplement is specifically marketed for perimenopause and menopause, but it also reaches down into women who are still cycling. So don't think of this as something that's only for menopause or only for like your 40s. It really can reach for all women who are wanting to balance their cycles, wanting to have better cycles and improve their experience with their cycles. We live in such a jacked up world. Our metabolism, our metabolic health is crazy. There's only 12% of people, I think it's even decreasing, that are considered to be metabolically healthy, and your metabolism and your hormones are deeply connected. Actually, every system of your body is deeply connected. But there happens to be this hormonal shift that takes place in your 30s, and we're understanding it now to be what's called perimenopause. And that is just a transitional phase, and again, it begins as early as a woman's mid-30s. I think they're saying that it starts about 10 to 15 years before menopause. Menopause is when you've been without a menstrual period for a year, but you back that up 10 to 15 years. And that's when typically women are starting what's called perimenopause. And so it can span a decade or more. And so if you think menopause is typically like 50 to 55, you back that up 10 to 15 years, you're in your mid 30s to early 40s when that is happening. And raise your hand. I'm going to be 37 in a month or two. And it has been so interesting to observe how hormones need to be supported differently in this phase of life than they did 10 years ago. And even 10 years from now, I'm going to have to be implementing things that I learn and being strategic about balancing my hormones and keeping things in check. So during perimenopause, your hormone levels, particularly your progesterone and your estrogen, begin to fluctuate somewhat unpredictably, which can lead to a wide range of symptoms, including irregular periods, mood changes, brain fog, anxiety, fatigue, and changes in your libido. And so for years, generations, to be honest, for years, this phase of life has been poorly understood and under-researched. And women were often told to just wait it out. This is just how it is. You're just a woman in your 30s or 40s. They're often misdiagnosed. And the only solutions really that we have been offered is birth control pills until it's time to take hormone replacement therapy. So you're just inserting hormones into your body. So birth control until it's time for HRT, and that has been the only solution offered to us. And so only recently has science and I believe people who are interested in natural wellness like us have begun to recognize that there is a lot of complexity going on in the women's body in perimenopause and that we need integrative solutions. And so Young Living saw this, understood the assignment, and have provided something absolutely incredible for us. So now we understand hormone health, it can be supported through targeted nutrition, through your lifestyle, through strategic movement, stress management, which we're going to talk a lot about today, and through evidence-based natural supplementation. And so Daily Hormone Essentials, this new supplement that's coming out tomorrow, it's a modern solution that is rooted in this evolving understanding of perimenopause and what women need in those phases of life. And so here's the truth. You can take all the supplements in the world. You could take you could take this new one. You could be using all the oils. You could be taking all of the supplements. You could even be on hormone replacement therapy. And they're not going to help unless you are pairing it with smart lifestyle choices. So if you're not balancing and trying to reduce your insulin, that's why protein is all the rage right now, because of the effects that it's having on insulin. And insulin is that fat storing hormone. And typically around perimenopause age is when that starts to show up symptomatically, like we're storing body fat and we can't lose weight, insulin resistance, weight loss resistance, all of those things. So if you're not strategic, if you're not moving your body, if you're just going to like sit around and never move, never exercise, if you're just a complete stressed out basket case and never doing anything to manage your stress, if you're not intentionally getting toxic endocrine disruptors out of your home and products and being intentional about that, then a lot of your effort, if you're just going to try to slap a supplement on it, you're not going to have great results. Okay, so this has to be a supplemental, strategic addition to a lifestyle that really needs to be intentional about supporting your hormone balance. A lot of us joke that it feels like a full-time job once you're in perimenopause, taking care of yourself. There is a lot of self-care required, but you're worth it. You're worth having a balanced meal and eating a lot of protein so that your insulin stops being out of control and you get off of the blood sugar roller coaster that's making you feel terrible and also leading to stored excess body fat. You are worth getting up and taking a walk, okay, so that your stress levels can reduce and your muscles and your bones and your joints can all be active. Like, you were meant to be a walking around creature, okay? You were not meant to just sit around at your desk and then sit around on the couch all night long. You're worth it. You're worth managing stress so that you don't feel miserable and have all this fight or flight and all of these negative downstream reactions going on in your body because of constant cortisol and adrenaline rushes. And you are worth getting toxic endocrine disrupting products out of your home and switching to things that are easy and natural and work just effectively but are not disrupting and mimicking your hormones. Okay, so you're worth it. All right, so There's things that you can do. This needs to be a holistic lifestyle approach. We're not promising magic here. And this supplement needs to be understood to be part of a supplemental lifestyle routine that is helping to balance your hormones, okay? So here's why Daily Hormone Essentials is a unique product. So this is a fast absorbing, it's a liquid plant-based gel supplement that is hormone free. Okay, so there is no exogenous hormones in Daily Hormone Essentials, and it's specifically formulated to support women through 3 hormonal phases. So PMS while you're cycling, perimenopause when that kind of unpredictable hormonal transitions start, and then menopause, which is what we know historically, that's what we've just called the transition to no longer cycling in a woman usually in their 50s. So unlike conventional hormone therapy, Daily Hormone Essentials, it leverages a clinically studied combination of botanicals, adaptogens, essential oils, and a mineral of magnesium to help maintain hormonal balance and support key symptoms without having to introduce exogenous hormones. So believe it or not, I know that HRT is all the rage right now, but most women, especially women in their mid 30s to mid 40s, they're looking for something that can support their hormones and feeling more balanced and helping them to feel better and have fewer symptoms and manage the symptoms of perimenopause. They're actually looking for that to be without hormones. If at all possible, people are actually looking to push off getting on hormone replacement therapy if they can find something that will support them and help them to feel better without having to introduce those exogenous and usually synthetic hormones. Even the bioidentical hormones are still synthetically created, even though they are a biological match to the hormone structure. So the key benefits for Daily Hormone Essentials include hormone balance and endocrine function, mood and cognitive clarity, libido and energy, sleep quality and stress response, and then vasomotor symptoms, which are things like hot flashes, night sweats, your dizziness, itchiness on the itchy ear, the itchy inner ear, which we had nobody ever knew was actually a symptom of perimenopause until recently. And so it helps with all of those things. So here's what's cool about Daily Hormone Essentials is that it has a clinically studied effective dose of the herbal compounds that are in it. And here's why that's important. So many supplements you're going to find, especially if you're looking into like hormone support supplements, there are so many. You can look on Amazon, you'll start getting Facebook ads for them if you ever search for one. Tons of marketing to women for hormone support supplements. A dime a dozen. There are hundreds to choose from. And a lot of them look tempting and they have really good marketing. And you have to be careful because when you actually look at the list of ingredients and what's in them at what doses, you'll find out that, let's say that they say has this clinically studied ingredient in it. Okay, well, the clinical study on that ingredient was done with a specific dose of that ingredient for a specific amount of time. Okay, so they look at that and they're like, oh, it has this ingredient in it. Well, if the clinically studied dose was, let's say, 500 milligrams, and what's in that supplement that they're marketing to you has 30 milligrams of that, you won't be able to expect to have the same results, okay? Because it's not using actually the clinically studied dose. So they're just using the study to claim that their supplement will do something. And there's actually very little chance that that supplement's going to do something because it doesn't have the clinically studied dose or the clinically effective dose. And so this creates a gap between marketing claims and the actual effectiveness of a supplement, which is why there's just a dime a dozen supplements out there, and half of them, more than half of them, most of them are not any good. And you might get occasionally someone who's like, oh, this is amazing. But by and large, you could waste thousands of dollars on supplements that don't have clinically effective doses of their ingredients in them. And so Daily Hormone Essentials is different because Ylang Ylang looked at the clinically studied doses of the herbal complexes that it wanted to include. And those complexes are validated in randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials, okay? So those doses are essential for achieving those physiological effects that are demonstrated in the studies. And so the specific combination of herbal complex that is in this supplement there's 3 of them. We're going to talk about them next. But there's a menopausal symptom index. So it's it's what they used in the clinical study. So it kind of catalogs or categorizes the symptoms that you're experiencing and then the severity of them. And there was an improvement of menopausal symptoms by 62% on the KMI, which is the menopausal index score. And that's with this dose of this herbal complex that is in Daily Hormone Essentials. So really cool stuff. And I love that we can be very confident saying like, hey, this actually has like clinically effective doses of the stuff that we're talking about. Okay, let's talk about what is in this core herbal complex. So there's 3 herbs. They're a little bit hard to pronounce. You're going to have to bear with me. The first one is Angelica gigas, or which is red giant Angelica. This is a estrogen modulator. It modulates receptor activity without introducing phytoestrogens. Okay, so its primary effects of this herb is to reduce hot flashes and night sweats, support blood circulation, and exhibit antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity. So in this complex, it supports hormonal balance and relieves those vasomotor symptoms without mimicking estrogen directly or having to do exogenous estrogen. So it helps relieve those. A lot of times if your estrogen is struggling, you start having more of those hot flashes, night sweats, dizziness, ear itching, all of that stuff. Okay, second herbal complex is something called Phlomis umbrosa or silk dan. And that is traditionally used to support joint health, circulation, and systemic balance during hormonal transitions. Okay, so during like those in your cycle, you have a couple of transition phases. Your ovulation, your follicular to ovulation stage is a transition phase, and then you have the luteal phase toward your menstrual phase, and there's also transition there. And your hormones are all kind of going on a roller coaster, and then especially in perimenopause, that roller coaster gets really chaotic. And so we want to help support that systemic balance during those times of transitions. That helps you feel less crazy during your monthly cycle when you have that. So primary effects of silk dan are reducing fatigue, vertigo, and joint discomfort. Who knew joint discomfort was actually part of perimenopause? It is. And it contains neuroprotective and anti-inflammatory compounds that contribute to neuromuscular stability during estrogen fluctuations. Okay. Last one is called Wilford's Sanancum. I have never heard of these herbs until this supplement, and I love that. I love getting nerdy with Young Living. They're the nerdiest company I have ever met, and I love them so much for it because they scratch my little nerdy heart. And I love research. I love finding out ingredients, and they dug deep to find these ingredients, you guys, and they are really cool, the stuff that they do. So Wilford's Sanancum is a tonic herb used in traditional medicine to support adrenal function and reproductive tissue health. So it improves vaginal moisture, improves libido, improves cognitive clarity, and improves fatigue resilience. Can I get an amen? Yes, I want all of that. Promotes overall energy restoration and supports endocrine system regulation. So these 3 herbs combined in the studied ratios and dosages, they produce synergistic effects on menopausal and perimenopausal symptoms, and that is why they were included in this supplement. Okay, there's 3 other adaptogens and hormonal modulators that were added to this. So one is ashwagandha. I love me some ashwagandha. This is an herb and adaptogen that is known for regulating the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamic, pituitary, and adrenal axis. So basically what this axis between these 3 glands does is modulates your stress response. And so if you are stuck in constant fight or flight, or if you have adrenal fatigue, it likely means that your HPA axis has some dysfunction. And so we have to work on our adrenals and cortisol levels, and ashwagandha works on regulating that HPA axis and getting it back to a modulated, balanced state. So the primary effect of ashwagandha is to support balanced cortisol levels, improving your sleep quality and reducing stress-related anxiety, and also enhances libido. So chronic stress can actually suppress gonadotropin-releasing hormone and affect your ovulation. So if you've ever noticed, if you're super stressed out, it impacts your menstrual cycle. It can make you delay ovulation. It can make you skip a cycle because your body's like, what is going on? So much stress going on. So that chronic stress actually does affect your hormones. That's why we talk so much about managing stress is such an important part of this. But ashwagandha can help restore endocrine rhythm and reduce stress-driven hormonal suppression, which is really cool. Next one is maca root. This is a non-estrogenic adaptogen that modulates the HPO axis, so the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. If you didn't know those were connected, they are. Okay, so its primary effects of maca is to support endogenous hormone balance through neuroendocrine modulation. So we've talked about exogenous hormones, that's like HRT, synthetic hormones that you take as medication. Endogenous hormone balance is what we're actually looking for, encouraging our body in the processes it's already equipped and gifted to do and knows how to do. If we give it the right building blocks, it can create the hormones that we need in the right quantities. That's ideal, right? But perimenopause and menopause, that those hormonal transitions, often that gets chaotic and we're not getting enough building blocks, and where our stress levels are out of control, and all those things start to get wacky. And so maca supports endogenous hormone balance through improving or modulating the endocrine system. It improves sexual function, libido, and psychological well-being, and may reduce those vasomotor symptoms and support bone health as well. So maca influences neurotransmitters and the central endocrine communication system rather than acting directly on hormone receptors. Very cool. Last one, probably my favorite, is Vitex or chasteberry. This is such, I'm so happy that we have finally a supplement that has Vitex in it. And this herb has actually made a big difference for me in the last year. I've been using like a different nightly drink that contains Vitex in it, specifically for hormone regulation and cycle regulation, and I've had excellent results. So I'm very excited to use this new supplement as part of that process for myself. So, okay, here's what Vitex does. It's a hormone regulating herb that's often used to balance the estrogen and progesterone ratios, which can get out of balance during perimenopause. So Vitex supports luteal phase function and healthy progesterone levels. During your luteal phase, which is the last half of your cycle leading up to menstruation, as your body is trying to build sufficient progesterone so that it can support a fertilized egg. So your progesterone is like your pregnancy hormone. It's what helps to get the pregnancy established, like the egg implantation and all of that stuff. Well, if you're not pregnant, then your body prepares to shed that lining once it hits the menstruation phase. But the second half of your cycle is all about building plenty of progesterone to sustain that pregnancy if you are, okay? So it eases symptoms of PMS. We're talking about Vitex here. It eases symptoms of PMS, including irritability, your breast tenderness, and cycle irregularity. And it can help reduce perimenopausal symptoms related to estrogen dominance or low progesterone, which is very common in perimenopause for one or both of those to start happening. You have too much estrogen circulating, you're not getting rid of it quickly or effectively enough, and so you have excess, or you have low progesterone, so your body's struggling to create enough, and those can lead to symptoms. The mechanism of Vitex is that it acts on the hypothalamus and pituitary glands to support balanced secretion of luteinizing hormone, which indirectly encourages healthy ovulation and progesterone production. I did a class on this a few months ago called What Your Cycle is Trying to Tell You, where we did a pretty deep dive on what happens in each phase of your cycle, each of the 4 phases. You can go to my YouTube channel and find that video. It's excellent information. If you're like, what is she talking about with all these phases of the cycle and what's happening? You need an understanding of that to really understand kind of how amazing this supplement is, that it's acting on all 4 phases of the cycle with very supportive herbs and adaptogens. So Vitex is especially beneficial for women in the 30s and 40s who are experiencing early signs of progesterone deficiency or irregular cycles. That is why it was so amazing for me. I was starting to experience that progesterone deficiency, and it was causing cycles to become longer and longer. And I was like, what's going on here? And so Vitex has been incredible for that. PMS symptoms are completely gone. Cycles have completely regulated back to normal by adding that. And so very, very, very excited that it's in this Daily Hormone Essentials. Okay, let's talk about additional therapeutic compounds. So there's magnesium glycinate, which is a highly bioavailable form of magnesium in this supplement. And this supports neuromuscular relaxation. It improves your sleep quality, which sleep is often very, very negatively affected during perimenopause and menopause. And it regulates this parasympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic nervous system is like your fight or flight, and your parasympathetic is where you want to be more relaxed. It's helping to modulate that stress response. Magnesium levels can be depleted by chronic stress and are often low in women with hormonal balance. Magnesium does like over 300 things in your body and is responsible for so much, and most of us are deficient because we're not supplementing and we're not getting enough of it and we're not absorbing enough of it. So it's highly bioavailable. and excellent for helping to balance those hormones. Okay, and we're gonna shift into talking about the essential oils that are in this supplement, and this is kind of a hybrid ingredient, which is deep spectra frankincense 2 extract. I have my little bottle of it right here. I actually put some under my tongue before we started the video. So this stuff is so cool, and there is literally nothing else like it in the world except for what Ylang Ylang creates. And they're starting to incorporate this deep spectra technology in all of their, in a lot of their products that they're releasing, and they are very evidence-based and science-backed. But here's what's cool about deep spectra 2, or frankincense 2. So this is a unique technology that Ylang Ylang has created, where usually if you have an essential oil, you have a steam distillation unit, and you put plant material, so like resin, in this case frankincense resin, or tree bark, leaves, stems, all of that stuff. So parts of the plant actually go into the steam distiller, and then you kind of pump water at a specific time, temperature, and pressure, and that helps the essential oil from that plant to release, and then they collect it and then purify it, and that's what you get your essential oil. So Ylang Ylang has created this incredible technology where they're actually using, instead of water as the distillation liquid in this process, they're using essential oil. And so you use the essential oil to extract even more compounds from that plant material. So it amplifies the effects and the amount of constituents in the essential oil by like exponentially. Okay, so cool. So this is frankincense 2, deep spectra frankincense 2. Deep spectra is the name of that technology. And so they used frankincense oil to extract even more boswellic acids out of the frankincense resin. And so this is like frankincense oil on speed, and nobody else has it, and it's in this supplement. And so it has so many more active compounds than just regular frankincense oil. This supports cellular repair, it supports hormone regulation and immune system modulation, and it contributes a lot of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory support to the hormone balancing potential of just frankincense oil. Incredible. Nobody else has anything like this. Nobody else has anything like to offer like Ylang Ylang has this with this deep spectra frankincense 2 extract. Okay, there's a couple other essential oils in this supplement that are amazing. And if you didn't know, essential oils have a synergistic effect when they are added to herbs. And so there's been lots of studies within Ylang Ylang and their labs showing that if you add an essential oil to an herbal complex, then the essential oil actually increases the bioavailability and the absorption and the effectiveness of those herbs in the body, sometimes by up to 40%, which is amazing. So adding an essential oil is intentional. And most companies, if they're making supplements, are not adding essential oils to increase the effectiveness or increase the bioavailability, but Ylang Ylang is. And Ylang Ylang not just has essential oils, but as you know, they have the purest of the pure essential oils, because they will not sell or create products with oils that are contaminated, adulterated, or are suboptimal in their like testing after they have been harvested and distilled. So here's the essential oils that are in Daily Hormone Essentials. One is Clary Sage, which we have all known as an excellent hormone modulating essential oil for years. So Clary Sage is a phytohormonal modulator. It contains a compound called sclereol, which is an estrogen-like property, and it supports estrogen balance and menstrual cycle regulation. Clary Sage reduces menstrual cramps and hot flashes, and has been shown to lower cortisol and support relaxation. So it helps buffer the effects of estrogen decline, particularly during perimenopause and menopause, when estrogen is rapidly and sometimes chaotically declining. Ylang Ylang is another oil. This is a nervine and an aphrodisiac essential oil. So this activates the parasympathetic nervous system activity, that rest and digest that we want. It enhances libido and sexual confidence. It reduces blood pressure and physiological tension, and supports emotional regulation. So Ylang Ylang addresses the emotional and sexual changes often experienced in perimenopause and menopause. Fennel essential oil is a digestive and hormonal support oil. It contains anethole, I think I'm saying that right, which is a naturally occurring estrogenic compound. It supports menstrual comfort, detoxification, and hormone metabolism, and promotes digestive health. This assists in gentle estrogenic activity and liver support for hormonal clearance, which is extremely important, especially as you start aging and your liver may start getting sluggish due to toxicity and diet, nutrition, things like that. So having a liver support addressed in this supplement is excellent. Okay, next oil is lavender. This is a nervous system regulator, so it exhibits anxiolytic and sedative properties on the brain. It reduces insomnia, restlessness, and irritability. It modulates cortisol levels, enhances your mood and your sleep quality, and it supports emotional balance and restfulness in hormonally affected individuals. Davana is the last essential oil, and this is such a cool oil. It is an adaptogen oil. So it's an emotional and an endocrine adaptogen, and it's traditionally used to support hormonal and emotional equilibrium. It has adaptive aromatic qualities based on your individual chemistry, which is really cool. So if you wear this, if you wore Davana as like a perfume, it would smell different on you than it would me. Amazing. Davana is known to stabilize mood and reduce irritability, and it offers individualized support for emotional variability during hormonal shifts. So cool. So that's kind of a deep dive into the ingredients of Daily Hormone Essentials. I want to talk really quick because we talked a lot about stress and the HPA axis and cortisol levels and all of that. And so I want to talk about the role of pregnenolone steal in hormonal imbalance really quick, because I feel like a lot of people have this and maybe don't realize that that's like kind of what's going on. So we talked about stress. I'm going to kind of explain that. So chronic stress actually plays a pivotal role in disrupting your hormone production. I have said for a long time, stress is the root cause that most of us don't realize. We're looking for all these root causes, and I think that chronic stress, not managing our stress well, is actually more of a root cause than we want to admit. And it plays a pivotal role. And this is through a mechanism often referred to as pregnenolone steal. So pregnenolone is a precursor hormone. It's like a building block hormone that's used by the body to produce both cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone, and it's also used to produce sex hormones like progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So under prolonged chronic stress, the body will actually divert that pregnenolone to create more cortisol, and do it at the expense of your hormones like progesterone and estrogen and your hormone synthesis. And so this can result in symptoms such as low libido, irregular cycles, fatigue, and worsening perimenopausal symptoms. So here's how Daily Hormone Essentials helps. The adaptogens in this formula, ashwagandha and maca, and the nervine botanicals, which are lavender, ylang ylang, and davana, they support a healthy stress response and help to regulate that HPA axis. And then by reducing stress and perceived stress and cortisol demand, reducing that cortisol demand, the formula allows the body to redirect pregnenolone toward the correct hormones that you want. So you want it to be directed toward producing sufficient progesterone so that you're not having crazy symptoms, and away from producing cortisol. And so the way to stop pregnenolone steal is to manage stress and to give your body lots of support to reduce chronic stress. And reducing that improves hormonal rhythm and overall endocrine stability, particularly for women in their 30s and 40s that are facing stress-induced hormone dysregulation. Okay, so that's the deep dive into some of the science, the formulation, the ingredients. Hopefully you've been able to get a larger picture at how amazing this new supplement is. But if you're wondering, like, how do I know if I need it? How do I know that this is right for me? So Daily Hormone Essentials, it's specifically beneficial for women who are entering perimenopause, so typically early to mid 30s, all the way through menopause and beyond. And symptoms addressed for this supplement include cycle irregularity, so if your cycles are long or short or irregular, hormone-related mood swings, declining libido, fatigue, and cognitive fog. So brain fog is a really big complaint among perimenopause. That sometimes people's first signs is they're like, my brain does not feel like it's working the way that it used to. So fatigue and like debilitating fatigue, like I'm tired all the time. Sleep disturbances, so like insomnia, waking up in the middle of the night, not being able to sleep through the night, etc. And then hot flashes and night sweats and dizziness, itchiness, things like that. Those vasomotor symptoms that we think of. So by supporting the brain hormone feedback loops and then reducing the systemic stress load, the formula of Daily Hormone Essentials, it promotes optimal hormone function without introducing those exogenous hormones that we're wanting to avoid or push away as long as possible, or endocrine disruptors. Another important thing about this not including exogenous hormones is that if you are on hormone replacement therapy, which sometimes can be like nailing Jello to the wall, right? You have to change your formulation. You have to experiment with higher doses, lower doses, constantly monitoring how that's working. And a lot of times it's not a one size fits all. A lot of times people still have unpleasant hormonal imbalance symptoms, even if they're on HRT. But the cool thing about this is that intentionally Young Living left out exogenous hormones, and there's no synthetic anything in it. So that if you're on HRT and you're still feeling you're needing some extra support, you can add Daily Hormone Essentials to your daily routine without fearing that it's going to interfere with anything like that. So it's really important that this is hormone free. And so whatever kind of hormone medication maybe that you have decided to get on with your doctor and assessing your particular situation, I'm not saying any of that's bad. I think that's fine if you decide to do that. But you can use Daily Hormone Essentials with confidence, knowing that it's not going to cause any problems with maybe some other medications that you are on. So here's the directions for use of this supplement. You take 1 sachet daily. Hey, I need you to go away, please. I'm teaching. You take 1 sachet daily with food. You can take it, I don't think it matters what time of day you can take it. I think most people will probably take it in the morning with your breakfast. And you can consume it directly from the sachet. You can add it to water. You could add it to your daily Ningxia drink, or it is suggested you could mix it with like 6 to 8 ounces of warm water and drink it more like a tea. I'm planning on probably doing that. I'm already in the habit of taking like my supplement that has Vitex in it at night. I just drink it as like a nightly drink. And so I'm planning on taking this with warm water in the evening after my evening meal as kind of like a post-dinner tea type of drink. But it travels easily. It's in super convenient single serving pouches. 1 box of Daily Hormone Essentials comes with 30, so you get a 1 month supply with every box. And starting, I think, hopefully in August, we should be able to add that to our loyalty reward. So then you're getting that 10 to 25% back whenever you order it every month, and you can just take 1 pouch per day. You can consume it directly. So if you're traveling and you don't have time to make a tea or something, mix up a drink, you can just drink it directly from the sachet, similar to Ningxia or Nitro. The packaging is very similar to that. So so that is all about Daily Hormone Essentials. I have heard that the flavor tastes a little bit like caramel vanilla. It has vanilla flavor, it has caramel flavor. And one thing, when you're looking at the ingredients list, if you're somebody who's like, oh, natural flavors, I don't like natural flavors, I can assure you that everything Young Living does is sourced with excellence. And so if their products say natural flavors on it, it is not the kind of junk natural flavors that you think of being in processed foods or snacks or things like that, where you're really not sure where it comes from. Their natural flavors are actually sourced from real food, real botanicals. They're extremely careful about the quality and the sourcing and the purity of every ingredient. And so even if it says something like natural flavor, natural vanilla flavor, or natural caramel flavor, those are not going to be synthetic, potentially harmful chemical cocktails like you might think of in natural flavors that are in like candy or something else. And so I just want to put your mind at ease with that, because it does say natural flavors on the ingredients list. And I have only ever known Young Living to use natural flavors that are of excellent quality and purity and have no cause for concern when it comes to that. So hopefully this has been helpful. As a deep dive into this new supplement, it goes live for all Young Living customers starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time at youngliving.com. If you're an existing customer, you can log on and order that tomorrow. Make sure you grab the new brightening eye cream and the new oils that are available starting tomorrow from Convention as well. We will definitely let you know when it becomes available for your loyalty rewards order. It will be one-time order tomorrow, at least through the rest of July, as they let stock and demand and all of that stabilize. That's how it kind of goes for all of our new product launches. So get ready to purchase it on one-time order, and then eventually you'll be able to add that to your monthly loyalty order so that you can stay consistent with it. And a note of, or kind of a note of advice for you is that these herbs and essential oils work best with consistency and giving it some time. So with the Vitex supplement that I had been taking, I'm going to switch to this supplement now. But with the Vitex supplement I had been taking, it took me probably 4 months of nightly use. Daily, nightly, did not miss a night, made it a daily habit before I started noticing significant improvements in the symptoms that I was looking to improve. So, PMS, irritability, all of the pre-cycle, and then the irregularity that I was experiencing, all of that started to improve after about 4 months of consistent use. And so again, as I warned at the beginning, you can't just slap a supplement on poor lifestyle and nutrition choices and expect it to work magic. You also should expect that you need to give this some consistency and time so that it can work its magic in your body and really work at restoring homeostasis, bringing balance to those hormones. They didn't break overnight, and they're not going to be healed overnight, okay, or brought back into complete balance overnight. And so give it some time, commit to giving it at least 3 to 4 months of consistent use every single day. Do not miss a day of this new supplement to give it a chance to really work at rebalancing your body. So I hope this has been helpful. I have not been able to see any comments or anyone who's watching, so hopefully people got to tune in. But I will put this replay on my YouTube channel, so it will be shareable in the future for anybody who wants that. And I thank you so much for just spending some time with me this afternoon to deep dive this supplement. I cannot wait to try it and hear all of our experiences using it. Feel free to share this with your friends, share this with your teams if that's helpful, and I appreciate it so much. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
And don't forget to like and